Wow, that's fascinating. Is it not hard to do?
It's not hard to do at all. There is a liquid, and there are tablets. And the liquid, you just put in a little bit of water 3 times a day. When you get up, maybe a quarter teaspoon in some water, middle of the day, and then before you go to bed at night. These things, Beth, can become very active in the evening. And I dare say I think that's the reason so many people have insomnia. They're keeping us awake. They've got nocturnal cycles here.
Is this appropriate for children as well?
Just take half the amount, and I would take half the amount for children. I think you have to be over 4 to start the program, and the literature will really define that. But you can just take half the amount, and yes, you should see what the kids pass. It's amazing. And if your child is infected, chances are everybody in the household is.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, the link between that and the gluten intolerance is amazing, because I've noticed that it's like now they're saying 1 in 3 has the gluten intolerance, and where is this coming from?
It's coming from worms, and there's a listen to me, it's coming from the worms. But I truly believe that, and I've seen it. And when we get rid of certain kinds of worms, and the worm that we're seeing so prevalently in my clients, the people that we test at Unikey Health, they're called threadworms. Whipworms is another delineation. Threadworms, whipworms. They're small, thin. They look like spaghetti, little pieces of spaghetti. And
is it the same as pinworms that children get?
No, they're in the same family, but the little pinworms are really very small. They're really teeny tiny. A lot of kids that are hyperactive, by the way, have pinworms, and the old-time way of checking those was by putting a Scotch tape, at the end of the at the anus at night, and they would come out, and you would catch them. Anyways, I could tell you all sorts of stories of the old-time pediatricians, but you give the kid a little bit of Zymex-2, which is the natural enzyme that eats up those little pinworms, and children just have been transformed.
Now, does the Zymex-2 work for the whipworms as well?
No, it does not. It works primarily for pinworms. That's been my experience. For these longer worms that are very tenacious, Beth, they've got free room and board. Why should they come out? I mean, getting all sorts of perks inside your system. They're a little bit more tenacious, and they do not work with the Zymex-2 the way I have found that this kit does, primarily that Verma Plus, which is the liquid that you're getting in the colon cleansing kit. And we've created it with a number of Native American herbs that allow the whipworms or the hookworms or the tapeworms to loosen their grip on your intestinal tract, so the head becomes relaxed and you start eliminating it. Some people see things, not everybody, because it basically will then go through the liver, and your liver can metabolize these toxins, but boy, oh boy, you feel 100% better. It can save lives, I'm telling you.
If you're just joining us, this is Beth Greer, and I'm talking with author Louise Gittleman about your gut on Your Supernatural Life here on Green 960.
Let's talk a little bit about the superbugs like MRSA. Why do you think it's such a huge public health crisis right now?
I think it's a huge public health crisis because these methicillin-resistant staph infections have become immune to the usual treatments, the big guns, the antibiotics. They're smart. I mean, they're like college-educated creatures. And they've outwitted, most of our ammunition here. So what I am finding is that there's certain probiotics that can really assist. I name those in the Gut Flush Plan. And I'm also finding that you just have to be a little bit more careful with your habits. You want to make sure that if your child is playing in any athletic event or any athletic team, that you keep things really cleansed and clean, maybe a little colloidal silver to wipe off, all of the towels, or if you're working out at a gym, you want to make sure that all of the equipment is properly sanitized. I love colloidal silver for that purpose because it kills everything in sight.
Well, you mean to actually spray colloidal silver on the towels? Is that what you're saying?
I do. On the towels, when you go in and get a pedicure, you want to make sure that everything, I bring it with me. I spray it on all the instruments that my gal uses. Because you can get a little cut, and if your system's a little down, these things gain entry into your body. A third of us carry it in our noses. So it's a good idea to do a nasal wash, a saline wash, just as important as it is to wash your hands. That'll keep you free from the MRSA as well as the flu.
Right. I use a neti pot all the time. It's great.
Oh, I love the neti pot, and some of us that have problems with it, you can just get those things, and I think they sell them in the drugstores, and up the nose, one nostril, out the other. But salt and saline, I mean, that's just such a purifying element, and this bacteria will not live in those areas if they can be properly sanitized. So cleanliness is next to godliness. I truly believe that. Perhaps it is godliness when it comes to the MRSA.
Give us your tip about drinking water and why it's so important to be hydrated.
Well, being hydrated is very important for many reasons. Number one, you're going to use water as the best dilution substance. So if there's anything toxic in the system, it will be diluted. That's number one. Number two, it helps to metabolize poisons in your liver. And it's important for your brain. Your brain needs to be well hydrated. And when you become dehydrated, you lose the ability to think clearly. And in this day and time, when you need to be on, sometimes 24/7, you do not want to be dehydrated. If you're doing a lot of talking like you and I are doing now, we probably should be drinking at least 2 glasses, at least a pint of water after our interview, because you do lose water through just the process of speaking and talking as much as we are.
That's interesting. Okay. I have a glass of water right here. I'm going to take a sip while you answer my next question.
Good.
It's hard to know what to eat when you travel, especially to a foreign country. I'm wondering what you eat when you're on the road.
I find it pretty easy to eat on the road. I don't eat anything raw. That I'm going to tell you right now. I know the whole concern about raw food and enzymes and whatnot, but I also know how much more deleterious it is in the system if you pick up a parasite. So my things are always cooked. I like a lot of vegetables. Vegetables should be cooked with some garlic or oregano. Those are major spice and herbal killers of bacteria and parasites. Well-cooked beef or chicken, hopefully, organically raised. Omega-3 eggs if I can get them, and certainly wild Alaskan salmon. I'm also a big believer in lamb.
I love lamb, yeah.
The lamb I think it's a healthier meat than any of the ones we've talked about, including fish. Fish can be contaminated. And I sound like the bearer of such bad news. I'm listening to myself, and everybody say, wow, there's nothing to do anymore. But if you clean out your system, believe me, there's quite a lot you can do. But lamb is very high in L-carnitine, and L-carnitine is such an important amino acid-like substance that helps your body in terms of burning fat. So well-cooked lamb with a little rosemary, maybe some garlic. I think that's a really good protein food for many of us. And then a lot of greens. Let's do some escarole. Let's do some spinach. Hopefully organic, cook with a little olive oil, maybe a little garlic. I think you can do quite well on the road. Go to the ethnic restaurants. Just make sure that the food is cooked, because many of these different cuisines, from the Lebanese to the Mediterranean to the to Italian, to Chinese, oftentimes use herbs that are very antibacterial. So we're in good shape when we go to an ethnic restaurant. Clean out your system, a little charcoal now and then, the right probiotics, good digestive enzymes, and of course everybody needs to pick up the gut flush plan, because then they'll know exactly what to do.
Right. Tell everybody the name of your website as well.
The name of my website is AnnLouise, AnnLouise.com.
And thank you so much. I so appreciate you being on my show. I love your information.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I look forward to chatting with you again. You are a supernatural mom.
I hope you found this show as eye-opening as I did on parasites, probiotics, and the importance of cleaning your gut to stay healthy. By the way, you can find Dr. Gittleman's Gut Flush Kit on my website, supernaturalmom.com, under the recommended products section called In You. Remember, add your name to my mailing list to get my free monthly newsletter and to be entered for the drawing of those wonderful organic and natural products. Log on to supernaturalmom.com, and I'll announce the winners in May. Now stay tuned for Smart Green Travel with Jerry Hart. I'd like to thank my producer, Ed Ellsworth, and thanks to Helga Hellberg, host of An Organic Conversation, for creating the Green Morning. For podcasts and more information on the show, visit yoursupernaturallife.com. See you here next week. Remember, have a supernatural life. I'm Beth Greer.
What you do